Hello everyone, welcome to Decoding Downtowns, brought to you by Vistity. In this podcast, we dive deep with leaders from business improvement districts across the nation, revealing the strategies that are shaping the future of urban development and economic growth. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, it's Jamie Schwartzman. Welcome back to Decoding Downtowns. Today we're traveling to the Pacific Northwest. We're going to be going to Spokane, Washington. We were just in Seattle for the IDA conference, but Spokane's a little further east, kind of heading over towards the Idaho. We'll be speaking today with Emilie Cameron. She's the president and CEO of the Downtown Spokane Partnership in Spokane, Washington. Emilie, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi there. Thank you. I am excited to be here with you today. It's great and sunny Eastern Washington.
Well, tell us a little bit about Spokane and what makes it unique and interesting.
Where do I begin? You mentioned we are the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Sometimes we call ourselves the Great Inland Empire, which as a former Californian has a very different meaning in the Pacific Northwest and California. But this is a really special place. We are the largest urban core between Seattle and Minneapolis, actually the largest city between Seattle and Minneapolis, as well as the second largest city in the state of Washington. We're also located about 25 miles from the Idaho border. So we are the downtown of Eastern Washington, Northern Idaho, and Western Montana. We have a great, I'd say, environment around us. We have a pretty amazing downtown. We have the third largest urban waterfall. And when I say that, I think it's an understatement. We have a gorge that runs right through the middle of downtown, surrounded by buildings that have incredible architecture. We don't have the same seismic concerns that some of our partners to the west do. So we still have those beautiful characteristic buildings. This is a city that really, and in particular our downtown, reinvented itself 50 years ago during the Expo 74 celebration. So we own the title as the smallest city to ever host the World's Fair, and it transformed our downtown, which was once surrounded by rail yards along the river, to the thriving, beautiful place you see with 100 acres of park and these great buildings. So this is a town that has reinvented itself a few times and done pretty big things for a city of 250,000 people. We are also surrounded by nature. You know, we once upon a time there was a slogan, near nature, near perfect. And this is a town that absolutely, if you enjoy the outdoors and the beauty of the great Pacific Northwest, this is the heart of it right here in downtown Spokane.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Downtown Spokane Partnership and how you're structured, organized, and financed.
So the Downtown Spokane Partnership, we're a C6 nonprofit organization, much like management organizations for downtowns across the country. We contract with the city of Spokane, who is the legislative authority for the business improvement district. In Washington, they're usually called business improvement areas or BIAs, but bids are probably what most people are familiar with, very similar. No two bids are quite the same. So our financing model is property and tenant assessment. So it's about 55% property, 45% tenants. We have about 1,600 ratepayers in the 83 blocks of our district. So you'll see everything from public facilities like the convention center. We have an arena, as well as the park itself, Riverfront Park, which is a 100-acre park, and then commercial buildings and even residential condos.
How does that tenant assessment work?
So each tenant, based on their use type and location, is assessed with a formula. So I will admit, we probably have one of the more complicated formulas you will come across in the industry, but it is very specific to the type of use. So if you're a parking stall, a hotel room, a multifamily unit, a ground floor retail to an upper floor office, there's a different formula based on your use type.
I see. Okay, so tell us a little bit what it's like to be the president and CEO of this organization.
It is my favorite job. I've been in this industry for a long time and never gets old. No 2 days are the same, which is part of why people like us love doing this job. We have a very unique mission in that we are looking at how we build the heart of our city, which helps our city, our region, our state. We help economic health, but also the identity of our place. And so for me, it's very rewarding. We focus on a couple of core programs. Clean and safe is the foundation of a healthy downtown. Economic vitality and business support. and then marketing and activation. And really, all of that centers around how we create public spaces that everyone can enjoy. And Spokane has some pretty incredible public spaces.
Let's talk about that economic development bucket and really how your organization plays a role in economic development for downtown Spokane.
So and what's so special about organizations like business improvement districts and then the management organization that is the Downtown Spokane Partnership is we play a very unique role as a convener between the public sector and the private sector. Not only do we speak both languages and have access on both sides, working very closely with our city partners and then also our property owners and our tenants, but we have the unique ability to be problem solvers and be able to see multiple different parts to that problem. So as an example, if it's street trees and how do we improve our shade canopy in a downtown and green space, and where's the water coming from? Where do we need the adjacent property owners to participate? How do we need the city to participate? And it creates a really unique dialogue and an opportunity to facilitate movement. We know sometimes in our public sectors aren't always as nimble as our private sector and vice versa. Our private sector, especially when it comes to public space, needs participation through the public sector. It's probably the greatest role we play, but we also are boots on the ground, whether it be as a service provider or as a partner with our businesses. We are regularly, if not daily, in conversation with our businesses to understand what are their challenges and talking to our property owners. Where are they struggling to fill spaces? What are the struggles with tenants that they're touring or attracting? Our businesses who are here, who are looking at, their customer base. We provide a lot of information. We use tools that help to identify pedestrian trends. We look at how events and even construction can impact how customers and employees are able to access businesses. We also look at, we're very unique in downtown Spokane in that we have still a very thriving, strong urban mall that's anchored by a Nordstrom. We are the smallest city with a Nordstrom that I'm proud to say is doing very well. And that provides a unique destination experience for people who are coming into downtown. Our retail sector we've seen bounce back strong after the pandemic and is continuing to drive visitor traffic. And we also, during the pandemic, had new sports and entertainment facilities open. So we have the first indoor Olympic quality track and field facility that's right on the edge of our beautiful 100-acre park that's steps from a new soccer stadium that was first of its kind partnership between the school district and our public facilities district. So it hosts all of our area high school football games, as well as the new USL men's and women's teams, and even concerts. We just recently actually had a 3-day comedy festival, first time that festival had ventured south of the border of Canada. So really unique mix. And then you cross through the park and you have our convention center, which is one of the largest convention centers you'll see for a city of our size. So convention traffic is a very big economic generator for us. We have just over 3,000 hotel rooms here in downtown Spokane. So hospitality and destination traffic is absolutely a driver, not just for foot traffic, but also economic impact. We have seen, much like other downtowns, that office traffic patterns have changed. We've seen some spaces construct. We've also seen some buildings make really significant investments in enhancing the amenities within their building for their employees. So it's interesting to see how some of the trends have changed. We relay that information, we track that information, and stay very close so that we can continue to help businesses and property owners plan what's next.
What are some of the challenges that you guys are facing in Spokane?
I think one of the challenges that every urban core is facing, especially if you're on the West Coast, is perceptions as well as reality around public safety, impacts resulting from homelessness and the intersection with mental illness and addiction. Washington State as a whole right now has really, I think, suffered from some of the addiction epidemic that's taken hold in this country. But, those are challenges. But on the flip side of that, I would say we have some of the same challenges that you see with the office market and remote work. And how do we transition into a place where it's not just a place to work, it's also a place to live? The city of Spokane is really leading, I'd say, in a lot of ways around housing right now. We recently eliminated parking standards citywide. We also have some density additions that were created so you can create up to 4 units on any parcel throughout the city. And then really what's interesting specifically for downtown is there's been 2 initiatives. One is called Pavement to People, which is an attempt to help surface parking lot development into housing. So it's a sales tax deferral program to encourage more housing we have 36 surface parking lots in downtown Spokane, as well as a conversion to housing for underutilized commercial properties, a sales credit. So they both were recently passed, but great opportunities that we're starting to see a lot of interest in how we could bring more housing into downtown.
How's the development pipeline look there for new housing and multifamily or any types of adaptive reuse or any kind of new projects?
It's starting to take off again. We've got a couple hundred units that are in progress right now, and I'd say a couple thousand that are planned. The key is always how do we get those from being planned to in progress or under construction. And we actually just secured in partnership with our city council. We're doing a deep dive and launching a housing study to really identify where are the opportunities to enhance our mix of housing. Spokane for a long time, like many urban centers, has had both ends of the barbell. Very, very low income, as well as that high-end luxury condo market, not much in between. So we're being really intentional in how we can foster workforce housing in particular, so that people who work downtown can also afford to live downtown. Looking at, the full spectrum of housing opportunities and where are the obstacles, where are the opportunities, and really what's unique about our buildings here, again, is we have an incredible mix of mid-rise property that can, I want to say easily, but I couch that term, right? Are ripe for conversion, I would say, maybe is a better way of explaining that, into housing. There's adaptive reuse always has challenges that are unexpected. And that's, that is a real challenge when we think about building housing in downtown. But man, we've got some incredible bones that would make for great places to live.
Is there a big residential population in the downtown area?
Not right now. There's about 3,000 residents in the core of downtown Central Business District. Next ring out is significantly more, but that is really where we have an opportunity to lean in. There's definitely a need. Spokane as a whole, our population grew by about 17% over the last 5 years. So we need more housing. And especially what's so unique about our downtown is that it's adjacent to the University District, which is home to the Gonzaga campus. It's home to the Washington State University Health Sciences program. So we're training the next generation of doctors and nurses and dentists right here on the edge of downtown. And being able to have that proximity really creates a unique opportunity for new residents who want to live in downtown.
Talk to me about data and the data you're tracking. And I'm interested to know what you think is the most important and relevant data that developers, investors are looking at.
Well, we track the information that our partners in the real estate community have. So, for example, vacancy rates, lease rates, that's pretty widely available. Probably one of the things that we do that's unique to, let's say, an individual brokerage is that we aggregate that information. So by being sort of this unbiased source, we're able to provide maybe broader information than if it were just one brokerage or another. We work very closely with our brokerages. But, some other examples, pedestrian data right now is really important to understand where are people going, what time, what days of the week, especially when we think about retail recruitment and retail occupancy opportunities. We also looking at hotel occupancy data. So we work with our destination partner a lot to understand where are their opportunities, and then through the city understanding sales tax. I mentioned we have a strong retail core here. We generate a significant portion of the city's tax revenue. Washington does not have income tax. So sales tax revenue is incredibly important to the general fund here, as well as property tax values. So those are some statistics that we keep an eye on when it comes to property valuations. That's important for the general fund, which is critical in funding those necessary public services across the entire city.
How do you see, data visualization tools, dashboards, those types of platforms playing a role in economic development for you?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, you can have a lot of information, but if you can't communicate that back in a way that's easy to understand, digest, and really even utilize it as a story that's where visualization comes into play. And the Downtown Spokane Partnership, we actually went through a rebrand last year in being able to help us more clearly define visually who we are and then how we're displaying information, whether that be on our website. We produce an annual magazine each year that accompanies our State of Downtown program. And in that, we include, aggregate stats about downtown. So whether, again, going back to that vacancy number, occupancy rates, to even things like how many people live downtown, how many housing units are there downtown. We learned over the last several years that information is such a powerful tool. But again, being able to incorporate that in a story that we can tell oftentimes through maps. We created a development map, I guess about a year and a half ago now, as well as a lot of video tools. Right now we're seeing, we know we have a beautiful downtown, so the more that we can help people visualize what that looks like has been really helpful.
So let's look ahead at the next one short year. And, what do you see as the key priorities in Spokane between now and 12 months?
I think that you're going to see housing is going to continue to be a key focus area as we think about how we build that 21st city. We know residents are going to be key to what the future of downtown looks like. But even on a more immediate basis, we really have positioned ourselves as a destination. We think about when people are planning a vacation, this is the gateway to the Inland Northwest. Coeur d'Alene Lake is about a 40-minute drive from downtown Spokane. Our airport is 15 minutes from downtown Spokane. You can be skiing on a mountaintop in less than an hour. You can be on a lake in less than an hour. It's a pretty incredible experience, and it's all from right here in downtown. And then I mentioned we have these really incredible world-class facilities that have continued to be, ranked on, we call them Spokalates, our best of list. And we've been named everything from the best place to live to the, best new sports facility in the country. And so those are creating unique opportunities for people to come into Spokane. We're hosting things like the World Badminton Championships now and other things that are bringing even international guests into our city. And so as we think about what the next 12 months look like, it's going to be how do we lean into being a destination while we also create a place where our residents can also thrive.
What do you see as sort of the longer term trajectory for Spokane?
Well, I mentioned that we sit on the edge of a pretty incredible mix of educational institutions. And as we continue to see those institutions evolve and intersect with downtown, I think you're going to see that this continues to be a hub for innovation. So when we think about the type of tenants who fill our spaces, entrepreneurialism, it's going to be incredible. We have I call it our secret, maybe our greatest secret, is the ideas, innovation, and products that are coming out of Spokane right now. We have world headquarters that are based here in downtown. They're quiet, but they're mighty. And I think you're going to continue to see them spin off new ideas, almost I don't want to get ahead of myself, but maybe a little mini Austin-like, right? And so health sciences in particular, you're seeing a tremendous amount of innovation around the health sciences industry, coupled with the research happening in these institutions. Downtown has the right floor plate to be able to cultivate that. And you're going to see that grow, and that's going to expand into then, again, that who's living in downtown. And I think that you will also continue to see, as this is that hub for Eastern Washington, Northern Idaho, Western Montana, you're going to continue to see this be a place that you're going to see more migration, and how that grows and how the diversity within our city and our downtown really embraces that will be something really special.
Let's play make-believe. We're going to pretend that you've been handed a magic wand and you know how to use it to cast a spell to promote the vitality of downtown Spokane. Emilie Cameron, how would you use your magic wand?
I think I would use it to help people understand the value of downtown before they need to. And I say that because oftentimes communities do not understand the value of a downtown until it is starting to fall. And we have such a unique, special reason for existing. Oftentimes we generate far more economic output per square mile than any other part of the city. And that economic output is critical in helping fun services that provide for every neighborhood in the city. We're intrinsically intertwined with the identity, not just of a city, but a region. I mean, you think about Spokane and that huge area I described, it is downtown Spokane on the map or in the photos that people are showing in that best of list. And so, I think the magic wand I would help to illuminate for people is truly that numerical, but that also qualitative value of a downtown for a place.
Great. Hey, before we wrap up, tell us how we can keep our eyes on downtown Spokane and you in particular.
Yep. So head over to downtownspokane.org. That's the easiest way to get to know what we're doing here in Spokane. We also have a great social media presence, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. The team does a great job. We really do a good job of curating information, but also storytelling. That's one thing that we have a campaign called Spokane is Downtown. And I think that encompasses so much of what we talk about. And it's a feature on our small business owners, the residents, the people and faces who make up this great downtown.
Just before we wrap, are we seeing, a renaissance of entrepreneurs and chefs and interesting small business people that are coming to downtown that want to be there?
That's what's so special about a downtown. You can have a place where a Nordstrom and an internationally recognized brand can thrive alongside a very curated, hyper locally owned business. And I think you see that here where we actually have even in the mall, it's called From Here, where it's curated with local artisans and they continue to thrive side by side. And that is what's so special about a downtown is that you get that very hyper local experience that you will not find in any suburban shopping center. And there's a network, there's a camaraderie. We often see where a restaurant will pair with a retailer or vice versa, even sometimes with an office. And you'll see this kind of nexus that kind of illuminates what a community you have in downtown. And that's really what I think all of us are so attracted to when we think of our downtowns is how all those pieces come together to weave this urban fabric that we all enjoy being a part of.
Great. Well, Emilie, thank you so much for talking with us today about Spokane. It's really an interesting, cool place. I'd like to come up and visit.
You will not be disappointed, I promise.
Well, and to our guests, thank you so much. To our listeners, thank you so much again for joining us on another episode of Decoding Downtowns. And I'd like to thank Vistity for sponsoring the podcast. And until we get together again in another destination, keep innovating and exploring in your district.
Thank you for joining us today for Decoding Downtowns. If you've enjoyed our podcast, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's brought to you by Vistity, the leading geospatial visualization platform for data-driven decisions. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's continue to shape the future of our cities together. Until next time, I'm Jamie Schwartzman.